The city called them victims, but I called them my masterpiece. The rain had stopped, but the city smelled like iron and asphalt, clinging to everything, even the skin. Streetlights flickered over wet pavement, neon signs refracting in puddles, and the occasional siren wound through the alleys like a low moan. Detective Ethan Cross knelt beside the body, gloves tight around his hands. A woman, young, elegant, her hair splayed across the asphalt like dark water. One shoe missing, nails painted the faintest shade of blood. Her eyes stared blankly at the sky. Same as the others, muttered the officer behind him. Shallow cut beneath the left ear. Arranged. Almost ceremonial. I watched from the top floor of the old apartment building across the street. A window cracked open slightly, steam escaping from inside. My reflection blurred with the darkened glass. The detective crouched, scribbling notes. I held my breath, smiling faintly. They'll never see me. I lived alone, or close enough. The city below was a living, breathing thing. Its lights and shadows mirrored me in ways the people on the streets never noticed. I pressed my fingers to the glass, leaving faint marks. Faintly imperfect. That imperfection was mine. The kettle whistled in the kitchen, but I didn't move. Not yet. I traced the path of the detective as he inspected the body, memorizing his gestures. Every detail mattered. Everything mattered. He's different. I whispered it to myself. Detective Cross didn't know it yet, but he was reading my story without realizing it. The bodies weren't random, they were my punctuation, my narrative. Grace, Lauren, Isabel, each chosen carefully. The same careful incision beneath the left ear, as if to mark a punctuation the world could not read. Their sins, or perhaps their lies, had been erased. I thought about Daniel sometimes, my old neighbor who had borrowed books and never returned them, who smiled while pretending to be kind. He never saw the truth. None of them did. The city was full of people like that. And I was the balance. My apartment was a sanctuary and a stage. White walls, neat floors, sketches everywhere, charcoal and graphite faces, blurred edges, hollow eyes. I stared at one in particular, a young woman's eyes, pleading, resigned. I traced the line under her jaw with my finger. You didn't deserve to lie. I whispered to the empty room, to the city that never noticed me. The tap dripped. I began to hum softly, matching the rhythm of the drops. I like the sound of my own rhythm. It's honest. Detective Cross didn't know me yet. He only knew the bodies, the patterns, the lilies left at the scenes. Third victim this month, the officer said. No clear connections, no motive, nothing. He hadn't seen the sketches I left, the faint marks on walls, the reflections in mirrors. He hadn't realized that I watched him more carefully than he watched anything else. Sometimes, I imagined him reading my mind, unraveling the pattern, understanding the method. But he never did. Not fully. When he finally came to my building, I was ready. I opened the door before he could knock twice. Detective Cross, I said, voice neutral. I wondered when you'd come. You don't seem surprised, he said. I've been expecting you, I replied, smiling faintly. He stepped inside, noticing the sketches, the neatness, the silence. My kettle whistled. I turned, hands steady, pouring 2 cups of tea. You draw? He asked. Only what refuses to leave, I said. He studied me carefully. I could feel it, the first crack in his composure. The victims, he said. You knew one of them? Yes. 2. I said, and paused. The third, she was the same kind. The same kind? I smiled, faint, tight. The kind that lies while smiling. The eyes never follow. He frowned. You think the killer. I am the killer, I said softly, as if it were obvious. We spoke quietly after that. I let him ask questions, I gave answers like riddles. I watched him puzzle over them. You think you're cleaning the world, he said once. Yes, I whispered. But cleaning isn't what it looks like. I could see him wondering what I meant, but not understanding. That was the point. I enjoyed the tension. I enjoyed the reflection of his confusion. Outside, the city breathed. Rain began again, thin and cold. The lights shimmered on wet asphalt, and the neon signs reflected in puddles like shattered memories. 3 nights later, the call came in. A body near the river, a man. Hands folded neatly. A faint incision beneath the left ear. A lily laid carefully on his chest. Detective Cross. I watched from the same window, sipping my tea. My reflection rippled in the glass. And then I realized. Everything he had done, every assumption, every pattern he thought he noticed. He had been reading my story all along. But he had never realized whose story it was. I smiled. The city mourned him briefly. They called the case the Lily Murders. 4 victims, no suspect, no closure. Months later, an art gallery opened an anonymous exhibition called The Silent Hours. 20 portraits. All women. Except one. At the end of the gallery, a single portrait of a man. No name. A faint line beneath the left ear. The plaque read, "Some wounds don't kill. They transform." I stood silently in the corner. When the lights dimmed, I was gone. Only a teacup remained on the windowsill, still warm, still trembling.